This is the April 2013 video edition of the Iowa General Fund Monthly Revenue Memo. I'm Jeff Robinson, Senior Fiscal Analyst for the Iowa Legislative Services Agency, the nonpartisan support agency of the Iowa Legislature. This video will cover Iowa net general fund revenue for the first 10 months of cash fiscal year 2013. Over the months of July through April, Iowa net general fund revenue increased $411.3 million, up 8.7% compared to the same 10 months last year. The month of April alone increased $77.7 million, growth that was very much influenced by the filing deadline extension granted for farm returns this year, with the normal March 1 due date moved to April 15 due to tax filing delays at the federal level. Let's now have a look at net receipts by month over the most recent 13 months. For the following charts, the underlying numbers have not been adjusted for any calendar or processing issues. Revenue increase months are colored blue, decrease months are red. Net general fund revenue decreased only once in the past 13 months, with that month being March of 2013. Without the federal farm return delay, that month would have been positive also. Individual income tax revenue is the largest source of general fund revenue, and this revenue source decreased in only 2 months of the past year. The farm return delay accounts for more than the entire March 2013 decrease, and that delay then contributed significantly to the large increase this past month. While sales and use tax deposits have increased for the cash fiscal year, they have actually decreased 0.3% over the most recent 6 months, a trend that bears watching as federal tax refund delays, the expiration of federal Social Security tax holiday, and the federal tax increase on higher income taxpayers all weigh on the consumer's ability to spend. If the recent trend of slow or no sales and use tax growth continues, the overall rate of general fund revenue growth will also slow. After showing signs of growth fatigue, corporate tax receipts posted double-digit % growth rates the past 2 months. Tax refunds in Iowa are significantly weighted to the months of February, March, and April. Federal tax filing delays kept Iowans from filing their requests for state income tax refunds for 30 to 45 days this year, resulting in fewer refunds issued in February and March and more issued in April. The pace of tax refund issuance for the year appears to be back on track as of the end of April. Due to the delays and changes at the federal level, Iowa general fund revenue trends have been difficult to interpret in recent months. But as we wrap up the individual income tax return season over the next 2 weeks or so, it is becoming increasingly clear that fiscal year 2013 will likely exceed expectations, and possibly by a wide margin. This graph presents the growth in net general fund revenue on a cash basis since July 1st, 2012. Note that transfer revenue is not included in this depiction. You can see that the pattern of revenue growth has been amazingly consistent throughout the year, with only the farm return filing delay making a noticeable impact on the trend. While all looks good for fiscal year 13, the source of the large growth this year is likely not sustainable in fiscal year 14. And without good contributions from the more traditional growth sources of income tax withholding and sales and use tax, fiscal year 14 will have a harder time producing revenue gains on the scale experienced in fiscal year 13. This graph shows growth from the combination of income tax estimate payments and income tax payments with returns. The graph shows the very large increase around the first of the year, growth that can be attributed to dividend payouts and capital gain realizations that were triggered by pending federal tax changes. This growth source will not be there in fiscal year 14. This graph also shows the drop due to the farm return filing delay and the subsequent run-up when those returns were filed, along with the tax returns of other Iowans. A significant source of this final run-up could also be the federal dividend and capital gains tax changes. While estimate payment and payments with tax returns have been growing at unprecedented rates, the growth from the traditional drivers of general fund growth has been slowing. Individual income tax withholding has grown significantly this year, but little of that growth has been posted in the past 3 months. The story for sales and use tax deposits is similar and more pronounced. Sales and use tax deposits stopped increasing in early February and have declined modestly over the past 3 months. In summary, net general fund revenue growth remains very strong, with fiscal year 2013 well above expectations. Much of the extra growth can be traced back to individual income tax estimate payments and payments with tax returns. Much of the strength in these two items can be traced to dividend and capital gains events at the end of calendar year 2012, a situation that is not likely to be repeated this coming December. With recent slowing in withholding tax and sales and use tax receipts, the oversized revenue growth rate may be behind us once tax year 2012 returns are finished. I thank you for your time and your interest in Iowa General Fund revenue. Please be sure to check out our next monthly video memo, available in early June.